A few days ago, I ran the London Marathon, and now it's all over, I'm thinking about recovery and ultimately when I can start running and training again. And there is one stat that I'm paying close attention to on my watch, and that is HRV. Heart rate variability can give you a really good indication of how your body is really doing. So let's dive into the data and go through what I've learned from this experience and the Garmin experts. And in this video, I'm going to go through what is HRV, how can we use it in our running, and a week on from London, am I recovered yet? Good morning. It is exactly 1 week to go until the London Marathon, and I'm going to be checking my HRV on my Garmin every single morning. And today it is 95, nice and balanced in the green. So let's head out for a run. So firstly, what actually is HRV? Well, generally speaking, HRV is an indirect measurement of stress. The higher your HRV, the less stressed you are. And there are lots of different ways that we put stress on our bodies, one of which is by running. This is supposed to be a nice, easy run, 1 week to go before the marathon, and it's slowly turning into, this is marathon pace, does this feel good? Just need to keep nice and slow. Now, you might not know, but your heart does not beat in a perfect regular rhythm. In fact, it's perfectly normal and healthy for it to vary from beat to beat, and it's the variation in time between consecutive heartbeats, which is called your heart rate variability. So now for the sciencey bit. So your autonomic nervous system is responsible for around 90% of your body's involuntary functions, and it has two parts, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. The parasympathetic, also known as rest and digest, causes a decrease in heart rate when your body is in a relaxed state, whereas the sympathetic, also known as fight or flight, causes an increase in heart rate when you're in a stress state. Both of these send competing signals to your heart rate, which causes a fluctuating HRV. So a week before the marathon, I want my HRV to be in a balanced state, which I'll come on to more later. 5 days to go. 5 days to go until London Marathon. I'm definitely starting to feel it. So far my sleep has been unaffected, but I feel like I am waking up more and more nervous each day. So my HRV yesterday was 95, same as a week to go. Today it's 94. Still in the green, still balanced. It's nice and easy to see whether it's balanced because it just comes up as green. But I wonder if it's going to go down any more before race day. Having a higher HRV compared to your baseline means that your body is responding to both parts of the nervous system, which is a sign of balance and that your body is adapting to its environment and performing at its best. Having a lower HRV compared to your baseline often means that one part is dominating, usually the sympathetic nervous system. This can be a good thing at times, but there's definitely a time and a place, like running a race when you want your body to focus on getting your legs moving. So it's quite interesting tracking HRV because you can see how life stresses affect it over time. So a few weeks ago I went to Jamaica for 4 days, and my HRV understandably went from being balanced to unbalanced due to a combination of not a lot of sleep, jet lag, and being on the go all day. What's interesting though is that it took a while to come back into being balanced, and I think my brain is so good at forgetting stressful events. So a few days on, I'd kind of moved on from the trip, was ready to just jump back into everyday life, but actually my HRV was still unbalanced, which goes to show that one good night's sleep does not fix a few days of not so great sleep and jet lag. So it's a really good reminder to take things easy and actually focus on recovery, which I'm gonna have to do next week because tomorrow it is race day. One more day to go until I take on the marathon. I'm so nervous, but HRV is looking pretty good. We've had 94, 94, 94, and then today it's 93. So we're still in the green. Sleep is definitely starting to be a little bit affected. I was awake for quite a lot of last night, just panicking about the marathon, but hopefully one more good night's sleep and then it's time to go. It's worth noting that HRV is incredibly individualised, so what might be normal baseline numbers for me might not be the same for you. It's affected by things like age, gender and endurance levels, but also it's worth noting that some really high level fit athletes might have a lower HRV. The best way to assess your own HRV is to analyse your own trends. Things, for example, like a downward trajectory might be an indication that you're overtraining, stressed or getting ill. Right, now it's time to guess what happens to my HRV post-marathon. Have a guess in the comments right now. Make sure you're subscribed and we're going to pick one of you to win a Garmin watch. So it's probably no surprise to anyone that a marathon can make your HRV go from balanced to unbalanced, and that is exactly what happened to mine. On the day of the marathon, my HRV was 93, and then the day after it was 88 is my HRV score this morning. There is nothing quite like the pain the day after running a marathon. And my prediction is probably that my HRV will stay unbalanced for a few days, but I'm interested to see how long, because my legs don't feel too bad compared to other marathons that I've done, but I don't know whether that is rose-tinted glasses looking back on how I felt. And I'm sure 2 days after, when the delayed onset muscle soreness really kicks in, it will start to feel worse. Good morning, day 2 after London Marathon. I have never been happier to live in a flat without stairs. HRV though has gone up by 1, we're now on 89. So that's quite good. Still very much unbalanced, but I'm actually feeling pretty well rested, which hopefully is a good sign that it will go back into being balanced soon. HRV is such a valuable stat to have after a hard race because it can give you an answer as to how you're recovering and how your body is actually feeling. We've all had the runner's high after a big race. You want to jump straight back into training and chase another PB, but it is so important to listen to your body to avoid overtraining, which could lead to injury. So it's 1 week on from the marathon. I'm back out doing some easy miles, but how am I actually feeling? And more importantly, what's my HRV doing? Well, oh, it's windy. By day 3, my HRV had crept up to 91. It was still unbalanced, but it was going in the right direction. And then on days 4 and 5, post-marathon on Thursday and Friday, it went back down to 90 on both days and was still unbalanced. And it looked like it was going back down. Now this correlated with, I started getting a cold, I started feeling ill, I was in the office on both days, so it was quite a busy day, and I got less sleep. So then Friday night, I think I got like 9 hours sleep, and it jumped up and went up to being balanced again, which is great, and I actually feel so much better. And now, Sunday, it's gone up even more. So definitely back to being balanced, but it just goes to show that, you know, 4 days after I was feeling recovered, I kind of slipped back into my normal routine, and then my body kind of screamed at me going like, no, we still need to recover or we're going to stay unbalanced for a while. So having a nice restful weekend and prioritising recovery has made a huge difference to that number. So what I've learned is that it is completely normal for your HRV to be a little out of whack following a marathon, but there are some ways to keep it on track, both in the lead up and in your recovery. Here are my top tips. We can push ourselves in harder sessions, but we need to make sure that we're giving ourselves enough time to recover. So when you plan out your week, make sure to leave gaps in between doing hard sessions rather than doing them back to back. This will give your HRV a chance to return to baseline before going hard again. Make sure you stay hydrated. This will help with your circulation and your body's ability to deliver oxygen to the muscles. Try to get your body into a good routine. Things like waking up and going to bed at similar times each day, eating good nutritious food and at normal hours, and generally trying to maintain your circadian rhythm. If you notice a decreasing trend in your HRV, it could be a sign that you're stressed or that you have an oncoming illness. So it's a really cool stat to use in your everyday life as well, not just in running. HRV also feeds into other stats on your Garmin watch like training readiness and training status, which can help you recognize when to go hard in training and when to ease off. So HRV is always a stat that I'm going to look at before and after racing because it just gives you such a good indication of how your body is actually doing, especially when you're very eager to get back out running after a race and you actually should be listening to your body. But let me know, is it a stat that you look at, or have I now convinced you to look at your HRV? Let me know in the comments, and go and check out the video where Andy and Jess compared their watch data for Valencia Marathon. It is very interesting.